today's our topic is fundamental rights, Prathamika Hakkulu. It is a very important topic in Constitution, and we would be expecting many questions from these areas. Fundamental rights అనేది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ టాపిక్ ఎగ్జామ్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూలో. అది యూపీసీ కానివ్వండి, స్టేట్ సర్వీసెస్ కానివ్వండి, ఏ బ్యాంకింగ్ ఎగ్జామ్కైనా, ఏ కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్స్కైనా, జనరల్ స్టడీస్లో, ఇండియన్ పాలిటీలో ఫండమెంటల్ రైట్స్ నుంచి మేజర్ క్వశ్చన్స్ మనకు కనిపిస్తుంటాయి. అండ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో వన్ ఆఫ్ ద ఏరియా వేర్ we could get confused easily. Reason being, we have to remember most of the articles, and every single article in fundamental rights are such a close that we would be easily carried away, or we would land in answering wrong questions. So here one need to understand the basic concepts of fundamental rights. One have to compare one fundamental right with other fundamental right, and if possible one have to remember all those articles, very important articles which we generally see in question papers. So ee prathamika hakkulu anedi mana constitution lo chala important part, and we would be dealing today what fundamental rights are, introduction, basic features of fundamental rights, and we would just carry on with our classes on fundamental rights. So what are fundamental rights? See, we have two words here. One is fundamental and rights. So why we call this section as fundamental rights? See, one thing is we call it as fundamental because these rights, the rights which are in part 3 of the Constitution, these rights are guaranteed by our Constitution. Fundamental rights are guaranteed by our Constitution, and as we know, our Constitution is fundamental law of the land. Because Constitution is the fundamental law of the land, and the same Constitution guarantees rights. That is the reason why I call them as a fundamental right. That is one view, one approach. The other being, we also call these as fundamental rights because these rights enshrined in the Constitution will enhance or will help each individual or every citizen of the nation to develop their overall personality, be it material, be it intellectual, spiritual and all. There will cater us to develop an individual and give us an overall development. That is also one of the reasons why we call them as fundamental. Ee fundamental rights, prathamika hakkulu, oka manishiki oka overall development ni istundi. So that is the reason why I call them as fundamental. All sorts of development, educational, intellectual development, spiritual development, economic development, ante materialistic kuda ivi manaki chala helpful avutundi. So fundamental rights are mentioned in part 3 of the Constitution. Important, part 3 of the Constitution from article 12 to 35. We have these rights mentioned in part 3 of the Constitution from articles 12 to 35. Initially, we had 7 fundamental rights. But one fundamental right, that is right to property, has been deleted from the Constitution. Now we have only 6 fundamental rights. So what is the basic of these fundamental rights? What had made our Constitution makers to enshrine, to keep these fundamental rights? Because every individual, as we are democratic country, every individual should have some rights for their existence, for their growth, for their development. And if an individual develops, he will contribute for the development of any nation or any country. So fundamental rights not only gives fundamental rights or a strength, a power to an individual, it would also contribute for the development of entire country. That is the reason why we call fundamental rights as Magna Carta of India. So what is Magna Carta? In British Constitution we have a great charter. Magna Carta is a great charter. You may also find a question in any question paper like, what is Magna Carta of India? Options would be fundamental rights, directive principles, fundamental duties and preamble. So we have to select the correct answer. That is, Magna Carta is fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are the Magna Carta of the Constitution of India. Magna Carta means great charter. We have a charter. We have a charter where individuals were given some rights in British. So as we know, it is mentioned in Article 12 to 35, and we have inspired from Bill of Rights of United States of America. In America, we have Bill of Rights. It is also similar to fundamental rights what we have taken, but in fact, we got inspired of taking fundamental rights and enshrining in our Constitution from Bill of Rights, United States of America. In America, as we know, they give more prominence, more importance to individual, their liberty, their freedom, and hence Bill of Rights are a testimony of United States of America's working, their governance, their democracy. And we have inspired of taking fundamental rights from United States of America. There would be also a direct question, what is the source of fundamental rights? So fundamental rights we have taken from United States of America. As we know, fundamental rights are justiciable. What is justiciable? If any policy of the government, if any law of the state encroaches or violates the fundamental rights of a common man or a citizen, that particular common man can go to Supreme Court to fight for his justice. ఏ ప్రాథమిక హక్కు అయినా ఉల్లంఘించబడితే, ఏ గవర్నమెంట్ చట్టంతో ఆ ప్రాథమిక హక్కు ఉల్లంఘించబడితే ఆ పర్టిక్యులర్ పర్సన్ సుప్రీం కోర్ట్ని అప్రోచ్ అవ్వచ్చు. సుప్రీం కోర్ట్ will take this case in its original jurisdiction. Supreme Court has its original jurisdiction to make these fundamental rights practical. So if any particular person feels that his fundamental right has been violated, he could approach Supreme Court through Article 32. 32 gives power, Constitution gives power according to Article 32 that Supreme Court could issue writs issue చేస్తుంది మన ప్రాథమిక హక్కుల్ని కాపాడడానికి. So Article 32 is very much important. It is called the base, the foundation of fundamental rights. So similarly, Article 32 is for Supreme Court and Article 226 regarding high courts. One can approve or approach high court also by Article 226. So whenever there is a violation of fundamental rights or whenever there is a law brought by state government or central government which affects fundamental rights, that particular person or aggrieved citizen can move Supreme Court or can move High Court according to these articles. So they are justiciable. Justiciable in sense you can go and fight for your fundamental rights against state or anybody which brings such a law that violates your fundamental rights. Unlike directive principles of state policy, when we come to our next classes, we would be discussing DPSP, fundamental duties. Fundamental rights are justiciable, not DPSP and not fundamental duties. So justiciable adds, power, adds strength to all these fundamental rights. Have we not have these justiciable thing, we could not ensure that fundamental rights would be protected. ఒక్కవేళ మనకి ఈ ప్రాథమిక హక్కు కాపాడుకునే చట్టం లేకుండా ఉండి ఉంటే, ఈ ఆర్టికల్ 32 కానీ ఆర్టికల్ 226 కానీ లేకుండా ఉండి ఉంటే మన ప్రాథమిక హక్కులకి గ్యారంటీ ఉండకపోయేది. We could not expect that our fundamental rights would be protected. That is the reason why, according to Article 32 and 226, it has been mandatory. It has been, under original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. It is the duty of the Supreme Court to protect our fundamental rights, and that is mentioned in the Constitution. Such a beautiful article these 32 and 226 are. That is the reason why I call them as bedrock of the fundamental rights. So you might have understand what justiciable is. Justiciable is whenever there is a violation of fundamental rights, you could move Supreme Court and also High Court as well. And fundamental rights are comprehensive. Comprehensive means it is overall, it includes everything, right from right to equality, to right to education, to right to employment, what not. Fundamental rights gives us everything what an individual needed for his individual growth, which also contributes for the development of the nation. So it is very comprehensive. You could see everything in that. It's a power packed thing where individual could generally see everything in this, and it is very elaborate also. Elaborate in sense, it is mentioned in a very detailed manner. So detailed manner, right from Article 14 to Article 35, every single right has been categorized. Now, as we have only 6 categories, one is deleted, that is right to property. Now we have only 6 fundamental rights. Under it we have sub things. So Article 14 to, for example, Article 18, we have right to equality. From 19, we have right to freedom. So in that manner, it is very elaborate in nature, and it is categorized so beautifully. Everything is included in that. That is the reason why we call it as a comprehensive. Comprehensive means it comprises everything, and it is also very detailed in nature, very elaborately explained, very beautifully categorized. One needs to understand this. One has to study fundamental rights in a very comprehensive manner. That is the reason why fundamental rights are very important, both in terms of knowing Constitution and in terms of examination also. So moving to our next slide. So what does it do? What fundamental rights do? This is a continuation part. So it upholds equality. Equality is a very important word. Equality is a major thing in fundamental rights, because Article 14 itself talks about equality. Equality is also mentioned in preamble. In preamble we have equality, we have justice, we have freedom, we have fraternity. So equality is one of the trinity in the Constitution. Equality, because one, if we don't have equality, there is no equal development. There may be very unbalanced growth that would affect the fabric or development of any country. We have dignity. Every person, every individual expects some sort of dignity, be it dignity in labor, be it dignity in livelihood, be it dignity in his own perception. So every individual expects dignity, and state should treat every individual in a very dignified way. మనం ఎంత చేసినా మనకు ఆ డిగ్నిటీ అనేది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. అది వర్క్లో కానివ్వండి, లైవ్లీహుడ్లో కానివ్వండి, ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్లో కానివ్వండి, ఎక్కడైనా పబ్లిక్ ప్లేసెస్లో వీ ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ సమ్ సార్ట్ ఆఫ్ డిగ్నిటీ, బికాజ్ హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్స్ క్రేవ్ ఫర్ డిగ్నిటీ. డిగ్నిటీ ఎక్కడ ఉంటుందో అక్కడే ఒక డెవలప్మెంట్ ఉంటుంది, ఒక వాల్యూస్ ఉంటాయి, ఫెయిత్ ఉంటుంది. సో డిగ్నిటీ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో బీన్ ప్రొవైడెడ్ బై ఫండమెంటల్ రైట్స్. And unity, because our India, our nation is very diverse culturally, very diverse geographically, historical background. As we know, we have very centuries of history. So such a diverse country, being such a diverse country, there is something which is uniting us in that way that primarily we know India. India is one thing. Then we talk about other states, other languages, other culture and everything. For example, just take when we see IPL, we have many teams. Team for Delhi, team for Hyderabad, team for Bangalore. But ultimately everyone has a fans. But when India plays World Cup somewhere far away from our country, but everyone cheers for India. That is unity. No, when it comes to the matter, we are one. India is one. So fundamental rights also enhances unity. Every person should have a sense of patriotism in them. So in our diverse culture, unity is an important thing where we are all one. We are one. We are one nation. So fundamental right guarantees unity. And what is political democracy? See, democracy is a very big word, as we follow indirect form of democracy. We follow a representative form of democracy. Political democracy means even we have other sort of democracy, like we have social democracy, we have economic democracy. But fundamental right guarantees political democracy. It promotes the idea, it promotes the desire of political democracy. It gives everyone the right to participate in elections. It gives everyone to have an opportunity of employment. It gives us a profession. We can have a unions. We can assemble everywhere. We can do job in anywhere in India. So these things, these aspects of fundamental rights promotes political democracy. Authoritarianism. See, when we are talking about democracy, democracy is opposite word of authoritarianism or despotic rule. What is authoritarian? Niyantratva palana. So where we don't have fundamental rights, we may expect some sort of authoritarian rule or despotic rule where people's aspiration is not taken into consideration in framing the policies. So government could become more authoritative or more undemocratic, but thanks that we have fundamental rights and it is guaranteed by the Constitution according to Article 32 and according to Article 26, we could expect anti-despotic rule, no despotic rule, because here fundamental rights, we could fight for our rights. There is someone, there is a Supreme Court who protects our fundamental rights. Constitution itself protects our fundamental rights. So it leaves no chance for any ruler to become despot. So despot is like single man. He don't listen to people. Despotic means he don't consider people's aspirations. He don't consider people's views or people's interest. Government may sometimes becomes against the people. వాళ్ళ పీపుల్ కోరికలు కన్నా భిన్నంగా గవర్నమెంట్ పని చేయొచ్చు కొన్ని సందర్భాల్లో. ఎప్పుడు మనకు ఫండమెంటల్ రైట్స్ ఒకవేళ గ్యారంటీడ్ ఉండకపోతే అప్పుడు. అండ్ అథారిటేరియన్ ఇస్ నియంతత్వం. సో వేర్ or single man rule or single party rule would generally spoil democracy. So to have a successful democracy, we should be against authoritarian, we should be against despotic rule. So these fundamental rights works against authoritarianism. It doesn't allow to become authoritarian. That is the beauty of fundamental rights, because we have given power, people have given rights to fight for their own ideas. Their expressions are being motivated, their feelings are being considerated. So fundamental rights gives us a strength to give our feelings, to show our feelings. And liberties and freedom. So what are liberties? Liberties are like we can do anything what we wanted to do. We have that liberty. In Western countries, people love liberty. In India, as we are not much literated country, literated nation, so we have constraints. We have small constraints, as our country could not afford to education for all. So that thing are many other factors which have curtailed liberties, but otherwise fundamental rights has given us right to freedom, right to expression, right to profess any religion. So liberties are also been enshrined in fundamental rights. So saying all these things, we could understand that how important fundamental rights are. So tyranny. Generally, we've seen authoritarianism, despotic rule. These things are much politically involved. Tyranny is more of executive, more of bureaucracy also. Because in tyranny, one could not expect the governance to be run according to the will and wish of the people. So bureaucracy or any political government could become more tyrant that it may be running against the will of the people. So here will of the people are the aspirations of the people may not be considered in the ruling of the government. So fundamental rights are against the tyranny. Tyranny is being curtailed by the fundamental right. Tyranny is being reduced and it will promote democracy. When we are not tyrant, we are the lovers of democracy. So we shouldn't be more tyrant. And in that way, fundamental rights help us to promote, propagate democracy and to reduce this tyrant. And fundamental rights also acts against these arbitrary rules, arbitrary laws. What are arbitrary? ఆర్బిటరీ అంటే ఇష్టారాజ్యంగా ఏదైనా చట్టం తీసుకురావడము, దానికి సైంటిఫిక్ వ్యాలిడిటీ లేకపోవడము. సో వెన్ there are no fundamental rights, or when the fundamental rights are not guaranteed by the constitution, maybe the government may become so obsessive with the power that it could make any policy, it could bring any law unscientifically. So ఏ ఆలోచన లేకుండా, ఏ బేస్ లేకుండా కొన్ని చట్టాలు తీసుకురావచ్చు, అది ప్రజలకు ఇష్టంగా వ్యతిరేకంగా ఉండవచ్చు. సో arbitrary laws can be curtailed only when fundamental rights are there and it is guaranteed by the constitution. So fundamental rights also acts as limitations. It limits the arbitrary law, because any law should be based on a scientific principle, because constitution gives us the power to the parliament, power to the executive, and also power to the judiciary. Any law should be based on the constitution. There is a limit. We have a boundaries. We have a boundary created by the constitution. So every law or every government should function according to the constitution, according to the people's will, because constitution is what? It is the people's sovereign. We have adopted the constitution for ourselves. So ultimately, people are the source of power. So constitution is a boundary where any law should be within it, and fundamental rights guarantees this. It limits the arbitrary power of any government or any law which is passed by the legislature. Here legislature, be it parliament or be it assembly in the states. Continuing with this, a government of laws and not men. So fundamental rights ensures that a government should be run according to the prescribed law. Here we also call it as rule of law. Rule of law. We have to follow the law. Any policy should be according to the law. No man should be above law. So everyone are equal. Everyone should follow certain law. And fundamental rights guarantees us that if any government policy brings a law which is against the fundamental principle of land, the Supreme Court will make it void. The Supreme Court will curtail it, because it is not by man, it is by laws. We have to follow laws. ఒక మనిషి కాదు, ఒక చట్టం అనేది ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఇక్కడ. సో గవర్నమెంట్ లాస్ కూడా ఒక సైంటిఫిక్ బేస్ మీద, ఒక కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఇచ్చిన పవర్లోనే పని చేయాలి. And these fundamental rights are protected by the constitution. As I said, article 32, you please remember this. Article 32 by Supreme Court has power, and article 226, High Court has power, to issue writs. Writs are some tools to protect our fundamental rights. I'll explain this in coming classes. We have 5 types of writs: habeas corpus, mandamus, certiorari, prohibition, injunction. So we have these writs by which Supreme Court will issue writs to protect our fundamental rights. So fundamental rights are guaranteed by the Constitution, and these are essential for all-round development. All-round development in sense, maybe economic development, maybe social development, maybe spiritual, maybe moral. So a person needs all these dimensions to make himself grow, make himself develop. So fundamental right gives us all-round development, which ultimately adds for the development of the nation. Simple thing, if a person develops, a society develops, a family develops, then society, then state, and ultimately our country develops. That is the beauty of the fundamental rights. If you like this video, please subscribe to Telugu One Academy. To receive notifications, please press bell icon. Thank you.